What's up, everybody? I got Nadia with us, and we're going to talk about her journey through our program. And she does branding and marketing for businesses who specifically focus on products and platforms. And she's a real classy lady. And we're just gonna hear about what she has going on and where she was in terms of her knowledge and what she was trying to accomplish, and then perhaps where she's at now and what she knows. So Nadia, when we talked our first time we talked on Zoom or Skype or whatever it was, where were you at and what were you looking to accomplish through working with us? What was the goal? Like, okay, if here's what I want to have or know or learn or get good at.
Yeah. Well, basically where I was at was I was pretty fresh from a corporate job, and I was starting out a consulting business. And on the corporate side, it was very easy for me to find clients because I came from the corporate world. I speak their language. I know what they need, what they want, how to target them. So that was very easy for me. But what I was really passionate about was helping business owners with their brand and marketing, specifically for products and platforms. And what was interesting was that I had a hard time packaging my product in a way that was appealing to them, number one. And number two, to find a way to have a sales process in place that would work for me, because I found it very easy to get in contact with people. Like, I was speaking all over the world. I had a lot of speaking engagements, like a couple of them per month. But it was very hard for me to then have a process defined and a way to actually sell them. So that was something where you guys stepped in, and what you really helped me with is to accomplish that.
Yeah. So you basically didn't have much of a sales experience, right?
No. Yeah. So my background was branding and marketing. And so basically that was what I was doing the past 10 years. And coming out of corporate, I had no experience in sales whatsoever. I had a little bit of negotiation experience, but nothing in terms of selling. And so I had all this knowledge and no idea how to sell this product and get that on the road.
Yeah. So you must have identified when we were talking that something that you got to get a sales background. If you're going to have your own business and you don't know how to sell something,
yeah,
that's, especially if it's consulting, right? If you're selling you, and it's a bit different, especially it's a higher ticket thing. So it's a bit different than selling a hair care product, because it's different because it's high ticket.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So like I had been selling, so to speak, like different kinds of products throughout my career in terms of, but that were really products like, here's dog food, here is hair care, here is, whatever else. That's a very different way of selling versus when you're selling yourself as a coach or as a consultant. It is so different because there are a lot of things involved in that, but mainly the packaging and also how you sell yourself. And that was something that you really showed me. It was eye-opening for me when I started the program with you, and the first conversations I had with you. It was really like, I had the feel it was really enlightening and everything. It was amazing because it was so different to anything I had ever learned in terms of selling, and it was a completely new and different approach. And it was great. I had a lot of success very quickly.
How was it different? Like, what were you used to hearing about, like, sales?
What was I used to hearing about sales? Well, number one, that sales takes a long time.
Yeah.
That there are different things that are involved, that you need to have, be very clear with your product, like all these things. And I was all those things, but there were things missing in order to get the close. So I wasn't closing very well. Like, I had great offers, I had great things, I was getting along really well with people, but I was having difficulties closing. So that was a new approach in the way that You guys, your training is just amazing and showing people, and there's really a process and a structure and how to do it that is so simple and so easy that basically you could wake me up in the middle of the night and I could just say, okay, this is what I need to do. And that was really eye-opening and very, very new, and also made my life so much easier within a very short amount of time. I think I applied it, and within a week I had 3 or 4 really high-ticket sales.
Yeah, that's really good. I like what you said about the process, because what we teach are principles, right, and not scripts. Because principles can be applied to you, because nobody's Nadia, like you're you. Because if I gave you a script that I wrote, you'd be being me and not you, and then it'd be all weird and inauthentic, as the coaches and people like to say.
Yeah, absolutely. It was really a process and methodology that I could apply to my business, but also to my personality. That's also very important. Like, I felt very much like I could pick and mix what I needed from it and apply it in a way that fits me. That it's not, as you say, because otherwise it becomes very inauthentic when you kind of try to sell in a way that is not according to your nature. It becomes very weird.
Yeah. And I'm sure, though, that some of the things were probably, like when it comes to getting the order on the first call and not waiting, and then they got to go think about it, and then they got to go talk with somebody and all that. So you probably was a little uncomfortable at the beginning for most people. Even sometimes it stays uncomfortable. Like, I've been doing this for forever, really, and so my whole adult life, it's still a little like when you have to encourage someone to make a decision that is best for them. They know is best for them, because that's something that I make a distinction on. Like, you only close people who want it, if they want it. But the problem is that they're going to give you a stall just because they're afraid. It's not like we're trying to get people to do things they don't want to do. We're trying to get people to do things that they do want to do. So it's sort of like a personal trainer. Like you say, like Nadia says, I want to get fit. I want to become a tennis player or something. And so, well, you said you wanted to. So now, as a matter of fact, of you getting up and going on a run or a hike or whatever, you may don't want to do that, but the good trainer will push you out of your comfort zone only if you say you want to. And so that's uncomfortable. Did you experience any discomfort, in you, getting good at closing people?
Yeah, it was very uncomfortable at the beginning. Very uncomfortable. I really had to push myself to say these sentences. But then this was something actually that you said in the very beginning of your training, and you kept repeating it all the time. And I think it's true. Obviously, you can find a way to trick people into buying from you if you really want to. But it's all about ethics. And at the end of the day, even if you would try to trick somebody into buying from you, it would backfire at some point sooner or later in any case, because they're not getting benefits from what they need at this point in time in order to move their business forward. And so that's why for me, it was definitely at the beginning, it was very, it was almost surprising, when I then said, okay, so here's a payment link, and I didn't even have it prepared, and I had to dig in my files in order to find the payment link. It was almost surprising the first time, because you're like, really? So this is really so that was an interesting one. And then you get more confident and you get used to it. And that makes it a lot easier, and you begin to understand that you're changing people's lives. And then when after a couple of weeks you start getting these messages of people that are saying, oh my God, you changed my life, I'm so grateful, that's when you really understand that you're making a difference. And that's when it takes a couple of weeks until that process has started, when you are changing people's lives, but that's when it really makes all of the difference, and when it makes you very happy.
Right. So now you're graduating to a time where you started, because I always say there's 3 phases to a business. There's starting, sustaining, and scaling. And I made that up. So if you hear that anywhere else, they I think that now, you've been able to make sales and get clients and help them and sustain that. I think the next hurdle for you is the scale, because it's sort of like you get a fire started, right? And when you start your fire, you start it manually, like with sticks. But if you want it to explode, then you got to go get some petroleum, or we say here gasoline.
Yeah.
You get gasoline and you throw it on and it goes whoosh. So that's what has to happen. And you've come really far though, because most people, number one, they never start. And number two, the ones who do start, they can't sustain it because they don't know how really they did what they did.
Well, I did start scaling it, working with you guys, because I started hiring
right,
people
you can do that. Yeah.
For me. I started scaling it through different ways, people coming in. Also now getting the program to a new level. So I'm scaling up the quality of the program as well. So these are the kind of things where I do see a lot of scaling. I hired 2 people to help me really take the program to the next level as well. So there are different things going on in terms of scaling, and this is really the next level and the next step.
Yeah, that's right. And then getting into other things like that all are part of that, because each one of those phases have their own challenges, So.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I've been very lucky that I was able to do it quite quickly, so that I could get a lot of help from you guys throughout the process.
So like, let's say one of these people are, they're watching this video, and because they're like one of these studier types. And so before they get on a call with us, they're watching this, and then like whoever you are, you're doing this right now. And so you're like, oh, he knows. I do know. You're doing it right now. You're watching this. And so like, what would you say to them, Nadia? Because they're going to get on a call with us, or maybe they've already been on a call. Let's just say they're going to get on a call, right? So what would you say to them? Like, there's somebody like you, or they need help getting clients. They want to learn the skills. They don't want to be sort of like dependent on a referral or anything like that. What would you say to them? They're on the fence. Like they don't know what to expect on the call. They're like, they don't know.
Well, first of all, the call is really it was really great to have that call with you, because it was eye-opening for me where a lot of the issues were that I didn't even see. So just getting on the call is already really worth it, number one. Number two, going through the program, I didn't really know what to expect when I started, as anybody does when they start with a program. But it was really amazing, and I learned so much out of it. Like, if people are having issues closing, if people are having issues selling, if you're sitting at home going like, oh my God, where's my next client? Like, where am I going to get them from? I think absolutely the best thing they can do is to sign onto your program. I went through a lot of programs in terms of developing myself further, and this was the only program that taught me to sell. So it was definitely worth my investment, and I got my investment back within, I think, 2 or 3 weeks. So that is something that I think is absolutely worth it for them to consider, because you won't get the same thing that they get from you guys anywhere else.
Boom. That's great. That's great. Well, thanks for doing this, and certainly looking forward to seeing where you go from here, and all your new success. And by the way, Nadia was doing a lot of speaking while she was in the program. And so if your plan is like, well, you want to do talks, but you still want to get clients, we can help you with that, you know, because you can do both. You can do both.
Yeah,
right?
that was something that was interesting for me as well. Was I was like, okay, between prospecting and being on stage, there is a different process in terms of getting them to close the clients. And I was very lucky that you guys would help me with that as well. Like I remember when I was about to get on stage and I was speaking to you from the UK to the US, going like, okay, Erin, so how am I supposed to do this? And yeah, I was very grateful you helped me out to define a process within a very short amount of time, and we were able to get that rolling, and that got me a lot of clients as well.
So yeah, you got a lot of bookings. How many bookings did you have that week? Like 30 or something like that?
50, 47, I think. 47.
Man, that's a lot of people. Well,
yeah, that was amazing. Yeah.
Well, thanks for sharing your story with us, Nadia, and wish you all the best.
You're welcome. It was a true pleasure. It was really like it's you know, when you receive, you're grateful to give back. So I'm really grateful about everything that I learned with you guys. So it's obvious for me that I'm doing this testimonial for you, and I'm very happy to do it.
Well, you know, and the things that you learn, and this is one of the things that I'm proud of, and you know, toot my own horn here, which is okay, because why do you have a horn if it's not for tooting? Is that the stuff that I teach, like it's cross applicable. Like those things will always be with you. Like it's not based upon a trend, or, you know, like what the formula that I gave you for doing the call, like you could do that with horses. You could do that with like anything, you know, it'll basically work the same. And so it's not, if you decide that one day, you know, you want to open up a video game company, like the stuff that you learned here will still, they'll still help you, you know? And so I'm happy that you were able to absorb the stuff, and because it'll stick with you for life.
Absolutely. No, and I know it will, because it's something that I learned for life, and it doesn't matter which business I open up, it will be able to apply.
Right.